All right, so for this farm, this is a rogue farm. You would need a raid party, and you also need a cleared AQ20 ID, 5 out of 6, with Ayamiss the Hunter being alive for the grubs to respawn. And this is essentially the path you take from the entrance into this little nook, and then ultimately ending here. Alright, so for the talents, there's several kind of different builds, but ultimately you're just going to want to improve stealth. There is kind of a build you could do where you get Blade Fury, but I opted out of that. I'll show you as well, kind of throughout this, there's pretty much like a kill spot and a safe spot. After you kill the grubs, they drop poison, and the damage is pretty significant. So you'll have a kill spot for each of these areas, and then a safe spot. Alright, so this is the hallway where you approach kind of the first mob that is respawned even after clearing the ID. So the Flesh Hunters are probably the most dangerous mob in here. They see us the same distance whether you're in stealth or not, and they aggro from a pretty decent distance away as well, so you kind of have to time this jump onto the pipe. So it's just kind of important. I like to wait till they're on the right side of this hallway, padding over there to the right before I jump onto this ledge, and then ultimately jumping down. There's one more Flesh Hunter as well. Once you get through the water and coming up the ramp on the other side, he pads from right side to left side. I typically like to wait until he's padding to the right side. If he comes down the staircase as well, there's a spot below where you can kind of just outrange it and wait for him to come up. And then usually if he's too far along his path there to the right, I'll just go down and wait for him to come down and go back up, and then I enter this room. So this is the first spot where you'll start farming these grubs. Alright, so this is the first big area that you can start farming the feeders. Again, like I said, they drop a poison cloud, so you don't want to kill them too close to each other. In the later farm spots, you don't have as much room to work with. In this initial room, you do want to stay kind of on the far side where the darker red is on the ground. And the next scary enemies are going to be the scorpions. They pull from farther than the other bugs, and they're just going to be a little bit more dangerous. So you're really kind of working around where the scorpions are for this area, the next area, and then the last two spots where you would farm. Like I had mentioned, there's a kill spot and a safe spot. So here you really just want to pull these from a range distance and stay out of the poison clouds. So once you've cleared the initial hallway here, I'm pretty sure you can just stealth through the middle, but I always take this elevated area on the left. And the next zone where you're going to farm the feeders is going to be this room, kind of this hallway, but also the room you can see to my right, slightly behind me. And so I just kind of alternate between pulling the leftover feeders that are in this hallway and killing the feeders that are in the room as well. So as far as a kill spot and a safe spot, again, you have a lot of room here. And so you just kind of spread them out and make sure you don't get too close to the scorpions or other bugs to aggro them from a distance. All right, so once this room is complete, you can kind of end the farm here and reset it, or you can keep going. The next section is, I would say, it's significantly more dangerous as far as the room you have for a kill spot and a safe spot, as well as the density of the mobs that you're trying to avoid, since most of the feeders are pulled via range. So you could end here, log out, have your your alt account or a guildie reset it, and it'll send you back to the beginning of the ID where you can clear this again. And after the second clear, you would have to wait 30 minutes before entering again, or you can continue on. I would say you probably have killed about half of the feeders that you would in this farm if you stop here. There's about usually 30 to 32 feeders that you can kill per clear. So it really just kind of depends if you want to stop here or continue to go. So now you're going to basically enter the spot where you really have your first kill spot, safe spot. There's a lot less room to work on. Where this bug is, it could be a scorpion, which gives you even less room to work on both sides. In this cubby here, you can see in front of me to the right. And so depending on the spawn, it kind of just depends on how much leeway you have for a kill spot. But essentially, you're going to see right here, like, so this is a pretty good kill spot. About where I'm at, even if there's a scorpion across where that bug is. And the safe spot is going to be pretty much directly behind me. This wall that you see to my right behind me is, you could go through it as well and get farther away from this bug. I oftentimes will go kill the first one there, come to this left side so I can pull the feeder that's still left in the prior hallway. But again, this is an area where I've pulled too many before with poison clouds still up. And I wasn't really in a good kill spot, and so I've pulled scorpions. I've had to petri out. I've had to vanish, and so this kind of is the first spot where it's a little bit more dangerous. I think you're gonna kill about 3 of the feeders here before you move across and enter the next spot. So this is really the first time I think in this entire farm that improved stealth is why it's needed. So you come across this hallway here and you hug the right wall. You just hug it. You have to make the one jump and you can kind of come underneath here. So this is the first spot where the improved stealth is absolutely needed in this farm. Otherwise you kind of run the risk of pulling the scorpions down below. And so this is going to be kind of the next kill spot, safe spot, is where I'm standing maybe a little bit farther back, and then there's also a little cubby directly to my right. So you kind of have 2 little spots here, or you can just use the one and wait. But because the scorpion is there, sometimes it'll spawn on the other side where the blue or teal bug is. So depending on if these are scorpion spawns or not, really kind of dictates how far out you can have a kill spot, and then how much room you have for a safe spot. So now I'm entering into the final room. In this room, there's 3 different kill spots, safe spots. I mark all of the patrols in here. This rock that you see that kind of divides the right side of the room and the left side of the room, the kind of rock cluster there, really close to me, and also the one that's in the middle of the room. There's another rock on the far side. You can't go past that. Like where I'm at now, you really don't want to go too much farther left than where I am, because you can risk pulling the boss in this room, and with the mechanics involved, you could die if you don't light a balloon or petri fast enough. And so this is the first kill spot. The safe spot is going to be directly behind me. You can kind of back up. Like the other areas here, the walls, you have more room than it looks like. You can kind of walk through some of these walls and get a little bit more space than's needed. But I would say the most important part here is just making sure you stick to the 3 spots where you can kill and have a safe spot, and then not crossing the center of that room as to engage the boss and kind of start the mechanics there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and move to the second kill spot and safe spot that's in this room. You can mount up, you could use sprint, you can stealth, but kind of depending on where the patrols are really dictates on how I move to this second spot. This spot is, you have a lot of room, pretty much this entire staircase. This leads to the final boss room if you continue to take this staircase all the way up. And so there's a lot of room here. This part's pretty simple as far as pulling back. You really just have to watch the patrols and take your time. You'll kind of see some of the feeders are really close to those rocks. I don't really like to get too close to the rocks to try and pull them. The patrols kind of make it difficult, and again, if you overextend, you'll start the fight with the boss, and it's almost certainly a petri out angle at that point. So I'm moving now to the last farm spot here, the last safe spot, kill spot. It's just going to be up here in this little cubby. There's about 3 or 4 of the feeders that you can kill here before you kind of reset the ID and start again from the beginning. Just depends. If you do have the Blade Fury build, you can, again, to this wall to my left, you can kind of pull them in there, kill them, and work your way to the right to have more room for a safe spot. But with the current build I have, it's just single target. But it's just 3 or 4 feeders, and then it's kind of the end of the farm. All right, so that's it. Like I had mentioned, this takes you back to the beginning. You could do a whole second farm, and then at the end of this, you're going to have to hearth out and wait 30 minutes before you can continue the farm again.